So you're curious about Raid? Let's talk about what's good in Raid in 2025. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here to talk about whether or not you should play the game of Raid in 2025. If you have never heard of Raid before, well, where have you been living? It's kind of hard to avoid. It's all over the place. But if you have heard about Raid and haven't tried it, or maybe you're just kind of thinking, hey, maybe I'd like to start another interesting account, well, I've got a great link for you. If you check the link out down below, you can get Rector Drath and you can get Ugo. I believe you start with Ugo very quickly and you'll get Rector Drath in a few levels, and they are both amazing epic champions, and we'll certainly talk about them in that link a little bit later. And why might you want to start an account right now? Well, let's talk about a few of the fun things. First of all, from an early game account, Raid has done all kinds of cool things. They give new players a total of 7 million free silver over a course of 5 days, which is absolutely amazing to get you started, to let you experiment a little bit with your champions, rebuild them, roll up some gear, and get a great start. The other thing that Raid has done is they have a pass called the Apprentice Pass. And unfortunately, I cannot show it here, but the Apprentice Path is absolutely amazing because it gives you a chance to get extra books, it gives you a chance to get extra materials to get your starter champion up to 6-star and 60 and fully booked and fully ascended, and it's a great way to start an account. It will turbocharge your start, making the early game significantly easier. You also have a chance, if you want to, you can purchase the bottom pack, which can give you a bunch of extra stuff as well as an additional copy of Rector Drath. Now, if you get Rector Drath with my link, you won't necessarily need her, but that doesn't mean you can't buy for a second copy, because having second copies of champions can be very useful in 2025. Two of the systems that Raid has added in the past couple of years has been the Faction Guardians and the ability to empower champions. Faction Guardians lets you actually take duplicate champions you might have of rare, epic, and legendary and stick them in here, and you can therefore hold some of your duplicates and you get additional stats for all of those rarities. So legendaries get an extra 10% HP, an extra 10% attack, an extra 30 accuracy and resistance, an additional 10% defense, and ultimately an additional 10 speed if I get 5 duplicates here. With the epics, you get something similar, a little less accuracy, a little less defense, and then with the rares, you get a little less accuracy and a little less defense as well. These can be very helpful early on in powering up your account, making you just a little bit stronger so you can take on newer content, and it also gives you something to do with duplicate champions, because duplicates are the way of some of these gacha games. The other thing you can certainly do is under empowerment here, you can make your champion stronger. So if we take a look here for the empowerment bonuses, epics, legendaries, and mythicals get bonus stats if they are empowered to a +1, +2, +3, or +4. As you can see right here, you can get a total of 40% additional HP, attack, defense, a bunch of extra accuracy and resistance, a bunch of extra speed, and a bunch of extra crit rate and crit damage, even on the epic level. So there are ways to empower your epics as well, so duplicates are no longer a horrible thing to get in this game, and in fact, many people like collecting duplicates of their favorite champions so they can make them stronger. As far as gameplay is concerned, there are a bunch of different dungeons here. Early on, you will find yourself in a lot of these potion keep here. The Iron Twins is a great way to get souls, which are another way to power up your champions. And then we've got the regular dungeons here, including the event dungeon that they have been opening up regularly with these big events that are incorporating big mythical integrations, such as Asgardian lore and Alice in Wonderland. There's all kinds of fun stuff here. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with these different dungeons, and each dungeon is its own little bit of puzzle. So if you like figuring out teams to build and figuring out a puzzle, well, this is the game for you. You can use your champions as puzzle pieces to solve the puzzle that is these dungeons. It's a combination of getting the right gear on them so that they have the right stats for what you need, as well as finding the right champions and their abilities to be able to get past the various dungeons and their bosses. There's also a total of 3 different clan bosses that you can join in with your clan to help take down. The Demon Lord being one of the easiest ones for you to access, and it's got great rewards where you can get shards to pull new champions or tomes to be able to level up the skills of your various champions. You've got Hydra, where you can get great gear as well as a chance to get a free champion. And then you've got Chimera, which is another place where you can get them relics as well as a great champion as well. All 3 of these are fun and interesting puzzles as well, Demon Lord being the most accessible, Hydra being the hardest, and they are a great way to puzzle your account out and find other ways to play the game. We also have Doom Tower and Curse City, which are very similar pieces of content, where you have a tower to climb for Doom Tower with different bosses at different levels and secret rooms intermittently on there as well. You also then have the Cursed City, which gives you the city map where you can take on different floors and attack them and try to conquer them with different selections of champions. It's again a bit of a puzzle where you are limited with what champions you can select, so I don't have my entire roster here. so I need to figure out what team is going to work well for this particular content. So Curse City brings a lot of extra rewards as well as some interesting challenges on your account. So you might say to yourself, Bront, all that stuff looks absolutely interesting, but what about starting out? Isn't starting out a grind? Well, that's where getting Ugo and Rectordrath come in. They are both endgame viable epics that getting early will also carry your account as well. So let's go take a look at what they do and why they're so amazing. We've got the lovely Ugo right here. She is amazing for your account. She gives you all kinds of useful tools to keep your team safe and to progress in the account. She gives you a leech on the A1, which allows you to heal based off of doing damage. Now, it's not the best leech, but it is definitely there. It is definitely usable, and she will land it because you're going to build her with enough accuracy to land it anyway. She has decreased defense, which is one of the best debuffs in the game because decreased defense enables you to do more damage, and doing more damage is an easy way to clear things faster. She also puts block buffs up as well, which is a good way to prevent your enemy from doing some of their healing, some of their other abilities, some protections. It is a great debuff to put on your enemy to make sure they don't do the things that they want to do. Finally, she has a wonderful heal. The heal is actually pretty big. She removes debuffs from your team as well. So if your team is taking damage from debuffs or is otherwise inhibited by the debuffs, she can help cleanse some of those. And then she actually has a chance to revive allies if everybody other than her is dead, which gives you a very good emergency revive mechanic in the game. And finally, once you get her high enough, she'll get this passive, which will give her an increased speed and a block damage if she becomes the last person living on your team. So she can guarantee that she has at least one last turn before she dies to possibly bring back your team with her heal revive. Very, very great champion. The kit is very well rounded and very useful for progressing in the game. And then we have this lovely lady here as well, Rectordrath. She is also an absolutely amazing champion. She has a decrease attack on the A1. Decrease attack is a great way to reduce the amount of damage you take on your turn. You have this healing ability here that heals a huge amount of healing, gives you a perfect veil, or gives you a continuous heal. Continuous heal will continue to heal you on your turn when your champions take their turn. Perfect veil will prevent your champions from being targeted. And on top of that, Rectordrath has this wonderful passive here where she will heal people when they start their turn if they are under veil or perfect veil. So Rectordrath is an amazing healer. She's honestly one of the top healers in the game, even just as an epic, making her very, very useful in a lot of endgame content and a very, very good carry early on. But if you're worried about dying, have no fear. Rector also brings you a single target revive that puts a perfect veil on them for 3 turns, which means they will continue to get healed, and they also get a lot of HP and a lot of turn meter out of it as well. So she is a very, very good champion for keeping your team alive. But we've talked about support. Let's talk about some of the other champions you will get just by playing the game. Sun Wukong here is an absolutely amazing champion, and you can get him using the code Monkey King until that code expires. Sun Wukong is an amazing support, damage dealer. He is everything for you. He gives you this amazing speed lead in arena, which is a good competitive advantage. That is at least a 28 points of speed on most champions. He gives you a chance to stun on his first attack. It hits fairly hard. He has this ability that hits really hard and has a chance to turn people into sheep, which is a form of control if they don't actually die from this hit. And if they do die, he then does a bunch of extra damage to everyone else. It's a splash damage of sorts. So the extra damage he does that is beyond what he needed to kill his target will be done to everyone else afterwards. And that ignores defense, making it hit really hard. Finally, he places block buffs, again, a very good ability in all kinds of areas of the game, steals all the buffs off of your enemies first, so he has a chance to get through things like block debuffs, and generally he can steal all kinds of cool stuff. Then he does his attack. So if he steals an increased attack, he gets additional damage as well. Wonderful, wonderful ability. And finally, what makes him absolutely annoying is after 3 turns have been taken, as long as you got this passive up, he will revive himself with 100% HP and a full turn meter. So he will be one of the next people to take a turn almost instantly, and he's at full HP. So he keeps coming back as long as your team is still alive in some way, shape, making him very hard. And again, you can get him free with the code Monkey King while that code's still valid. Finally, valid till early March, you too can get Alice the Wanderer. Alice the Wanderer is an absolutely amazing damage dealer. She can do all kinds of other control as well. This is part of the Alice in Wonderland event, so she is a wonderful champion to get, at least for the next few weeks while you can still get her. She's got an A1 that can do damage, hits up to an extra time if there's a champion has a skill on cooldown, and has an 80% chance, which is bookable to 100, of reducing the duration of a random buff on the target by 1 turn. So she can strip buffs off her enemies. Her A2 hits really hard again, and has a chance of decreasing the cooldown of enemy skills by 2 turns. It basically delays their ability to do everything on their arsenal by 1 turn if that procs, which you can book that to 100% as well. Very, very useful ability, especially early on for locking down your enemies in arena, locking them in the waves. Very, very good champion. Finally, she's got an A3 that is a single target attack, ignores additional extra defense beyond any other ways you can get to ignore defense, and if it kills somebody, it will attack the next target with the lowest HP, also ignoring 20% defense of that target. So she can often get 2 kills from this one skill. And finally, if she kills somebody, she can reset one of her cooldowns every 3 turns, making her very easy to use. You don't even have to invest a lot in her because you don't need the books if you don't want the books. They're helpful for getting the skills active, but you don't need them for the cooldowns, which makes her very easy to build very early. Finally, she gets additional damage for each target's skills on cooldown as well, which is good because she's already difficult to build because you do need accuracy on her in addition to crit rate, crit damage, and speed and attack. So the ability to do a little bit of extra damage that works well with her kit makes her a little more valuable and just a little bit easier to build. But just looking at raid in general here, we have a total of 800-ish champions here to collect. You've got all kinds of different rarities. We've got 4 different sets of factions here, and we have 4 factions in all of these, other than this nice hidden one right here, which we are hoping to get sometime this year. So we should have our 16th faction sometime this year. We're going to have some new faction wars content, which is very good. Raid has a lot of good things going for it. It's still a fantastic looking game. It's still a very fun game, and it makes you think, gives you something to puzzle on, and gives you something to kind of chill with and play on your phone, or you can sit down and play on the PC client like I am. So that's why Raid Shadow Legends is a great game to play in 2025, especially if you use my link down below. I appreciate all the support. You guys are absolutely awesome. I do guides and all kinds of cool stuff on this channel, so please come check out my channel, come check out my Twitch, and, you know, hang out here. We love to help people out, and enjoy your raid journey. Appreciate everyone. Don't forget to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. So until the next video, I'm Bront, CatHerder.